Well, the week was coming to a close. Tomorrow, these humans will begin their assault. I honestly expected myself to publish more articles, but unfortunately all training drills were done on Sol Olympia. I was not cleared to watch, so I sat aboard the Star Union command ship. Since it wasn't a battleship, it had more luxuries for the patrons. I'm not sure if that was solely because it wasn't a combat ship, or partly because extremely high-ranking members and delegates were stationed on these. I didn't mind either way, as long as credits continued to flow from my work being cited, republished, and even covered by live news. Journalist Khan, Admiral Carroll spoke, pulling me from my thoughts. Olympia has invited us over for a commander's call before the reclamation of free space. You are cordially invited to join us. Ship leaves in 30. I slowly nodded, unable to refuse to see the inside of a human ship. I must see the inside. Yes, Admiral, I will be honored. I shall meet you at the transport ship. With that, the Admiral had left me to myself. I have a lot of prep to do and no time. I bolted off to my office to grab any and all recording supplies, returning only when I felt comfortable in the fact that my gear would capture everything. When the transport ship arrived at the Olympia, the humans confiscated all my recording media, except for a simple hololog for notes. Sorry, Khan, can't have these leaked and the enemy know what the inside looks like. Sergeant Wilson gave a sympathetic shrug as he spoke. That's fine. Alright, Terrence and Khan, please listen very carefully. Every room with a door open is free for you to explore. We have reduced the gravity in those rooms by 84%, should be practically identical to galactic standards. Sergeant Wilson turned towards Khan. The visor plate seemed to drill into his soul. Do not wander. Gravity for Earth is extremely high. You will most likely be unable to move. Breathing may be difficult. Your own weight may kill you, or cause you to suffocate. I repeat, do not wander. The guests all nodded. Good, follow me to the bay. The trip was long. This ship was truly massive. We switched from shuttle to shuttle. Sergeant, your ship is massive. How did humans create such a large behemoth? I asked, resting in the third shuttle of the trip. This isn't too out of the ordinary for us. Wilson waved his hand at nothing in particular. We Dyson-sphered our entire solar system after all. My mandals for a third time in a week went slack again. Dyson-spheres were rare. The Star Union has only created 10 in its history, all making up part of the core systems. Alright, we are here. Let's get to it. Wilson hopped up with ease. His body seemed to float until his body snapped down to the ground almost instantly. Has he been using mag boots this whole time? I couldn't help but stare at his feet as we walked. The iconic clunk rang out with each step. Not only was he using mag boots, but he was walking as if he wasn't even struggling to lift his boot off the ground. It looked natural to him. Humans seemed to be very strong. Stay here and watch. Wilson never even stopped to look back to see if we listened to his instructions. He knew he would. I don't think he was used to anyone disobeying him on his ship. As Wilson walked to the stage, I noticed the entire bay was full of humans, all in their void black armor. No skin, scale, or hair showing. Unknown beings under their armor. The stage was about 15 feet in height, large enough for everyone to see him regardless how far they were. The 4 other humans that I met during the weapons testing were up on the stage too already, along with a 5th that I had not seen yet. The crowd quietened as Wilson got to the stage. A final clunk rang out, followed by a loud click-pop. His boots were disengaged. He squatted in position, and with an explosive movement from his legs, of which I've never seen such power displayed, soared above the stage slightly before landing gracefully at the edge. My eyes must have been bulging from their stalks. He turned, facing the crowd, and bowed. The men and women of the Olympia roared. My chest shook. My insides vibrated. Their chorus penetrated my exoskeleton. I slammed my hands over my audio receptors, but it did very little. Even Carroll pressed his hands against his ears. That's when I saw the blood, slowly dripping between his fingers from his ears. Wilson brought his hands down, silencing the crowd instantly. The sudden silence left the feeling as if a hole was left in me. It was as if there was no sound. Complete silence. Not even the rumble of the idle engines could be heard. Now, that may have been the minor damage caused from the sudden noise, but it was a harrowing feeling. Wilson grabbed a mic from the podium on the stage and addressed the troops. As per the Colonel's orders, he pointed to the 5th unnamed soldier. You are released for the day once dismissed from this call. He dropped his hand back to his side. My fellow brothers and sisters, we have been called upon. Wilson paused. His hand laid open and flat, but suggested everyone to turn towards Admiral Carroll. Our life is about to change. The Union shall change. Once we attack tomorrow, humans will no longer live in the shadows. We will no longer be left alone. Wilson took a deep breath before continuing. You all know the threat. You fought them in the simulators. They're easy to crush, but do not let that cause you to be reckless. For recklessness breeds? Wilson stopped, awaiting a response. The humans dutifully answered as one. Death. And who shall know death tomorrow? Ravagers. I ask you again. Wilson pointed to his troops. Who shall know death tomorrow? He extended his mic towards his audience. Ravagers. The word shook me to my core. The word that once brought fear to the Union now seemed insignificant, pathetic even, when shouted by the humans. And who will bring death to their doorstep? Ares! Our salvation was truly before me. And if we shall fall, who will greet these motherfuckers in hell? Ares! 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 Wilson's voice dropped to just above a whisper. Damn right we will. Dismissed. The troops slammed their feet together and snapped a salute. The colonel returned it, and the troops began filing out of the bay, shouting to each other, paying us no attention. I turned, watching them leave. Wilson patted me on the shoulder, which caused me to jump. How did he get it so fast? The click pop rang out, notifying that he activated his boots. Just so you know, Khan, we need you on the bridge tomorrow. You are going to record everything seen. You will see firsthand the reclamation of Union space. Plus, we need you to leak certain footage for PSYOPs. He chuckled to himself. I was unsure what he found funny. I'll see you tomorrow. 0500 on the bridge. Do not be late. He turned to the Admiral. Glad to relieve you, boys. Take this break to recharge. Call off all lines of effort. No alien shall be on the front line with us. Terrans are allowed to follow to set up temporary operating bases to support us in case of any issues. The Admiral nodded. It will be done. See you on the battlefield tomorrow. Sergeant Wilson shook his head. No. He slapped his forearm and his armor shivered as he slowly faded into nothingness. You won't. If it wasn't for the clunking of his boots, I would have never known he was walking away.